Thank you so much for tuning into Terminal 1. We're back again, and welcome to the Terminal 1 podcast. And I am joined by the one and only, I am so hyped, the one and only King Bill. Guys, he is coming all the way from Bulawayo, the city of kings and queens, which is funny because it's also King Bill. What's up, man?
Hi.
How are you?
Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Of course. How are
I'm
you?
doing fantastic. Here as King Bill, but also as William Sampindi, artist manager and creative. And I'm super stoked to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How are you finding Harare, man?
Yeesh. You want my truth or
Your truth.
is that
Speak your
generic
truth, man.
answer?
You need to stand on business. Speak your truth.
I love Harare for the fact that it's the business hub. It's the center. It's got volumes. It's got people. It's got traffic. But also,
literal and physical.
It's not pure for me. You know, it's very linear and too rigid, and there's a lot of fakeness, if I can say that. And this is just from purely experience. But I've found that Harare is becoming a lot more receptive to the rest of the country. Like the great state of Zimbabwe is actually bigger than Harare. And so I think my opinion is being diluted. Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, awesome. All right, so you are a talent manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to talk about that? For those that don't know what a talent manager is, please educate them.
Okay, maybe I think let me start with how I started. So I actually came into the business by chance, by calculated chance, because I was working in Cape Town for 4 years, selling wine and gin. And I was just consuming Zimbabwean music a lot. And I remember at that time I was on YouTube and I was just thinking to myself, where is the real music? Like, where is the music that resonates beyond our borders? Where is the music I can share with my international colleagues? And I couldn't get an answer, sadly. Weirdly enough, my very crazy mind just decided, you know what? I'm quitting my job, leaving Cape Town, breaking up with my girlfriend, leaving my house and my furniture, and I'm going back to Zimbabwe. And I did just that. And I came back. And I remember my first 3 months, I struggled really hard because that lifestyle change, it causes a little depression. But I had to just be willful and mindful about what I wanted. And then that's when I got into the music industry as King Bill. And the name also has a very huge connotation for me because it was about claiming your throne. It was about claiming yourself as an entity within the greater confines of society. And my moves as King Bill, the musician, I really enjoyed it. You know, I was going home more fulfilled. I used to have stress pains here. They were not there anymore. And I used to talk about depression like it was a life subject. But it turned out I just was in the wrong space. So fast forward a few years later, I've worked on a project with Murphy Cubic, and then I meet this young lady called Kyla Black. Now she's very well established.
She is. I'm a huge fan of her.
Interestingly enough, when I met Nicole, she was very shy and very timid and very tomboyish. And through a friend of mine, an ex-business partner, his name is Zino Reva, you know, we nurtured Kyla to a space where she was confident enough to start creating music of her own and recording. Fast forward a few months later, me and her agreed that we'd work together on an artist and a manager basis because I saw the struggles that she was going through. And I was wanting to remedy those. And then we did this one project called the Only a Minute Sessions, where we did a series of 5 EP-style videos, which were 60 seconds long. And they hit, but not in Zim. They hit globally, where I was called by the current Sony director of Africa, Tapone Somavunga. And she was very interested in Kyla. And that's when the mentorship program, I hope I'm not saying too much, but a mentorship program of sorts started in that space. So while they were mentoring Kyla, they were mentoring me. And I got to meet a lot of people from Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, artist managers and A&R managers as well. So I got the love for it because it was a natural transition because I had already been helping people. So to go back to your initial question. What is an artist manager? An artist manager is someone who facilitates and assists a creative of any sort to be able to achieve their creative goals and their goals of exhibiting their creative to the world effectively.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, man, that's very interesting. I know a lot of people out there that are watching will probably want to become a talent manager, and I wouldn't say move to Cape Town and then build a life and then break up with the girlfriend and then go back home and then do it. But I think it's possible. I think it's possible. You're a huge inspiration.
Thank you.
It's pretty impressive what you've done so far.
Oh, thank you.
Considering Kyla was, I remember the first time I saw something of Kyla, I think I was on Instagram or TikTok, and it was, I think it's one of those setups that you mentioned.
Only
she was in
me.
a kitchen, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, this chick is dope.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Kyla Black, that doesn't sound Zimbabwean. And then like she had like the Zim flag, and I'm like, no ways. There is absolutely no way she's a Zim item.
Yeah.
But like, shout out to you, man.
Thank
Shout
you
out
so
to you.
much.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to Kyla Black, by the way.
Shout out to Kyla. I'm a huge fan.
She's
I'm
amazing.
a huge fan. She featured on our Terminal 1 playlist some time ago. Yeah. She's doing good. She's doing well. All right. So you mentioned earlier on that you were an artist yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was that? What was that like? And then the trajectory from being an artist and then shifting into being a talent manager.
I think that's a dope question because for me as an artist, I found it very hard. It was, I remember my palette was sullied about Harare through being an artist.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I don't want to mention names lest we get sued, but there were a certain award ceremony that we were invited to, and we came here. I had to sleep on the floor.
Eish.
That same night. I remember it was me, Asaph, Metamorphic, and Mr. Lit, and Larynx, Voice Box, the producer, and we got robbed. Like they stole our shoes, our jackets, and then that same night we still had to perform at the award ceremony, and a debacle happened with Asaph. So, as an artist, it's been a really terrible experience, but also a motivating experience in the sense that you start to realize that you are actually meant to appreciate the space that you are in and give value to what you have and use whatever resources that you have to get where you need to be.
Yeah.
So that driving force motivated me to think beyond the box. There is no shape, and start to understand that what I need to do is investigate more about what the people of Zimbabwe like and how do I then serve them best with what I know. So within that space, I then decided, I find it easier to solve problems for myself. Imagine how easy it would be to solve problems for someone else. And the second I started doing that, I started to unlock value because I'm a graphic designer by profession, actually. I've been doing that for 18 years. And I've never managed to have an impact as a graphic designer. I'm a really good designer. I'm highly regarded in Bulawayo and the world. But impact for me is why I do creative, because I want results. I want to see it changing people. So I started scouting for talent, listening to new people, and then starting to ask them, what problems do you face?
Yeah.
And in my own minuscule, minute way, I would then try and service and provide solutions for those problems.
No, that's great. That's great. So would you say the struggles that you went through as an artist played a huge role in motivating you more to, provide excellent management to
100%. Also, my life experience as a man, because one of my greatest passions is young men, no homo. But I am passionate about the perspectives of young Black men and pushing their narratives. So what I saw was, as young Black men, we don't have older brothers, we don't have fathers, we don't have uncles who want to help us, And then I'm speaking in a generic term, like your neighbor is your uncle, the guy down the street is your dad. So we don't have people who have a genuine love for what we care about, So I think that one perspective allows me to try and be ingenuitive with whatever problem we come across. I won't say I offer an excellent service, but I do my best to take my best practices when it comes to my business work ethic and translate them to my artist management ethic. Because with artist management, unlike business, or like business, it's actually like a relationship.
Yeah.
So you foster that relationship through wins. Yeah, you positively reinforce it with wins. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So, do you mind talking about the artist that you manage?
I don't mind at all.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you manage an artist from Zim,
Yes.
another international artist,
Yes.
Waters. I'm a
Yes.
huge
Drip, drip.
fan.
Quip.
I'm a huge fan. So, like, I understand how you came across the Zim artist.
Yes.
Proximity. What about Waters? How do you?
So I'll start off by saying that I encourage people to always step out of their comfort zones and to never see Zimbabwe's borders as a limitation to how far you can go and how far you can reach and talk to people. So one thing I always do is cold calling, but on social media, it's just DMing people.
Yeah.
And before, I think Jinimbi was still alive, I made a contact with a lady called Yesonya, DJ Yesonya in Namibia, and I offered her free graphics. So I had been doing graphics for her for 3 years for free. And then she moved to a new management company, a record label called TNA, Timeless New Art and Music and Entertainment. A fairly new record label. It's only 2 years old. But she moved to TNA, and then that's where I was introduced to the CEO of TNA, Shimbayu Chivuno, very affluent man. And basically, he changed my life because he saw the potential that I had weirdly enough, through graphics.
Yeah.
And last year, I had the pleasure of being sent to Zambia to do project management for a construction company. And I went there and I did that. And I was successful in implementing all the projects that were standing and also resolving a few issues with the neighbors. So he loved that. The fact that I was versatile, you know. Even God agrees. And then, so in December last year, I went to Zanzibar for a holiday.
Yeah.
And then during that period when I was in Zanzibar, he called me and he was like, why don't you just fly back to Windhoek when you get back? I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'd never been.
Yeah.
Got to Windhoek. We started sampling songs. And then he introduced me to a song of Waters. I immediately said, I don't like him.
Right off the bat, like that.
I was like, no, I don't like him.
Yeah.
But then we got to meet, me and Waters, and we got to hang out. I remember the first time we met, we went on a hike and we got to speak. So I got to understand the type of a person he is. So for me, when I manage an artist, I don't really care too much about talent. I care more about the personality, because talent you can always nurture.
Yeah.
Personality you can't cultivate.
You can't.
So I realized he's a very staunch young man, very stand-up, very upright human being. And at that point, I decided, I want to help you out. And without noticing it, through our conversation for the day, I was actually giving him pointers that would come up later on in conversation, months later.
Yeah.
And we worked on our first project within the first month of my being there. And it was an award-winning song with the famous vocalist Mashudu, the one for Mina Nawe.
Yeah.
And I directed the music video, not because I'm a music video director, but because there was no video director. But also I have some sort of art direction skill from my graphic design side. So I know aesthetically what looks cinematic. And also I own a media company, so I know about angles, I know about camera lenses, I know about emotion and stuff. So I was helping out. And then when the video came out, directed by King Bill.
Ah.
Yeah, and then that video went and won a prestigious Metro Award, the first ever act outside of South Africa to do that. And then I was like, wait a minute.
I've got a knack for this.
I could really do this. Yeah, so I stuck to it. So it's been a beautiful year. We've got 7 nominations and won 5 awards.
Wow.
For music videos that I directed.
No, that's amazing. Because I also saw that you won some awards as well at the recently held Bulawayo Art Awards.
Yes, we won best, most outstanding music video. So basically, it's music video of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, well done, man. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well, we actually answered like another question that I was going to ask you. That as a talent manager, besides talent, what do you look for? But then you just cleared that out. That talent you can nurture by personality, which is true because there's some people that just they just leave a sour taste in your mouth, you know.
Yeah.
And it's.
It goes across. It's a life thing.
Yeah.
For me, who you are should translate to the various touch points that you have access to. If you are a really crappy human being at home, we see it on the street.
Yeah.
If you're a really good human being at home, we also do see it on the street. So I don't believe that money can make anyone good. If anything, money corrupts people. But if you start off with a good foundation, it's easier for you to start to bypass those alluring sides, those alluring things about money. Yeah. So I try to make sure we are working with decent people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have to deal with you every day.
Yeah.
There's stresses which come with managing an artist, managing their road, managing their distribution process, managing their association with possible brands, and managing the whole process of their life, because you have to then start to encourage them to change lifestyle where lifestyle changes need to be made. And that's tough. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, especially if you don't like someone.
No, it really is. It really is. You can't just handle it. Yeah, I understand. I understand. All right. So that's Waters. And then
The Kudu.
Yeah.
My boy. The Kudu, I met him 6 years ago in Cape Town, and we hit it off instantly. And then we met again 3 years ago in Bulawayo, and we just reminded ourselves, hey, man, we met there at the studio. And then, going back again to personality, I absolutely love his work ethic. He and him first keyed up actually on a collaboration, not musical, because I have my own media company, which primarily focuses on digital design and online marketing, and he has his media company which focuses on sound engineering and video filming. So we would collaborate for big projects, and I would see how he would work. We had an opportunity to work on a project called Let Arts Speak in collaboration with Trust Africa, where they gave us a certain amount of money and asked us to host a show in Bulawayo, basically. And by many standards, that's one of the best creative spaces that's ever been curated in Bulawayo, purely because of the process. And how we onboarded them, how we handled the artists, how we did rehearsals, how the show was run. Because each artist, after their set, they were handed their money. And that rarely happens in Bulawayo. In Zim, full amount. Get
right
an envelope, sign, go home. So I started to see glimpses that I was really impressed with in Dakudu, but his own personal professional repertoire, his own CV is so impressive. He's professionally trained in Cape Town. He was mentored by RJ Benjamin, and one of his mentors was the sound engineer for Freshly Ground. So he got to work with Freshly Ground as well. He's worked with Rouge. Currently he has a song out called Better with one of Chris Brown's writers, prominent Zimbabwe writer called Dacom. And he has a song with Rhymes BPM, who happens to be Beyonce's producer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Look at you.
Look at him.
Yeah, look at all of you. No, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. You're doing pretty well. I'm not going to lie. Very, very impressed. I already knew some stuff, but the more you talk about it, I'm like, wow. Wow, that's a lot.
Let's write a book.
Exactly. All right. So I saw that you featured in GQ magazine.
Yes, ma'am.
How was that?
It was amazing. As an artist, these awards and these acknowledgements give us the oomph and the gumption to continue what we're doing. They actually revive the soul. I'm being a little dramatic, but that's what it does physically. So the GQ feature was manna, because we as artists or creatives, especially who dwell in the digital space, know the impact of those kinds of endorsements, because it says to the rest of the world, or people who don't otherwise believe in you, that this is someone to follow, this is someone to look at. So that article I loved it, actually. I can't say too much about
Yeah.
it, but also it came about through preemptive collaboration. Like I collaborate with everybody. And I say that carefully because I am picky to a certain point, but
Yeah.
there's certain criteria that you have to meet. I have to go through your socials and see a certain element of seriousness. I have to see an element of consistency. It doesn't mean I want to see big numbers. I just want to see what you are giving to your own cause. So just that whole fact allows us to be able to do what we do better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, but hopefully in the future we'll have you again.
I'm available.
Awesome. So, how long are you in Harare for?
I'm here with Uaris. We're here for 2 days. And then I need to get back to Bulawayo and head back to Windhoek because we've got MTC1, which is the Desert Festival on the 15th and the 16th. So, yeah. Just here
Is
for a few
Dakudu
more
going to be
days.
playing there?
Dakudu, unfortunately, no. No. But Dakudu's got gigs lined up in Bulawayo. He's probably got Tukzin, you know Jala Tukzin?
Yeah.
And DJ Zinhle coming up.
Well, I'm a huge fan.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming through. Just one last thing.
Yes, ma'am.
To any guys out there who are thinking of pivoting, whatever they're currently doing, because you're a man of many talents. I mean, you're a model, GQ, project manager, director, producer, graphic designer, talent manager,
Jeez.
rapper. The list is endless.
When you say it like that.
What would you just, like, some piece of advice to young men and women out there, old and young, what would you tell them to do?
Amazing. I think, remember that creativity is a generic word. Creativity is not a product. It's all encompassing. So as a creative, you've got the potential to do anything creative.
Yeah.
And never feel limited by either resources or the lack of, by people's opinions or the lack of, and always stay in a positive mindset because ultimately that will be the determining factor. What you think, what you feel. So don't focus too much on the exterior noise. Focus on your own vision and what you want for yourself. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so
Exciting
much.
times ahead. Seems
Yes,
like
ma'am.
2024 is going to be pretty big for you. And
It's
your
gonna be
artist.
bomb.
It's gonna be awesome. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining me, King
Thank you
Bill.
so much, man.
And I hope you enjoy your stay in Harare and your travel well.
So far, it's been amazing. I won't lie. Shout out to K Media. Shout out to British Council. Shout out to Represents Radio. Thank you to everybody who supports us. And thank you so much to everybody who's giving us the platform to do what we do best.
Awesome, awesome. And your socials so that people can follow.
Yes, I'm available on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, William Sambindi, that's my professional page. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, it's King Bill, ZW, KINGBILL, ZW, one word. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Be sure to like and follow his stuff. That way you'll know when his artists are dropping, when the next thing is happening, next creative space, all the King Bill team jams that he'll be doing. List is endless. Come on, guys. I'm sure you'll find something that will really resonate with you. Thank you so much, King Bill.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Bye.
Bye.